Hello, my fellow rainbows. Sorry, I was trying to swallow the food in my mouth. And welcome back to another YouTube video. Today, I'm reacting to how Coraline could have been creepier. This video is by abitfrank. I read that and I did it. So, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this.
This give you the creeps? Well, buckle up because things could have been on a whole new level of creepy. 2019 marks the 10th year that we've been blessed with Leica's beautiful stop-motion adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Coraline, which marks 10 years of people saying, "That movie creeped me out too much. It gave me nightmares for months. Ew, buttons." How? Seriously, how? Cute little girl in her was literally a saying, "Cute as a button." Haha, whoops, quick rewind. I'm not here to judge those fears and phobias, aren't they maybe? But to let you know just how much creepier this movie could have been. For starters, here's the book. Look at—
Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I never fully watched the movie of Coraline. I've seen bits. Oh, forgot. I've seen bits and pieces. I've had the movie playing before in front of me and not watch it. So I've seen bits and pieces of it, but never fully watched it.
this creepy cover. Look at it. This is the stuff of expressionless clay nightmares, and I read it when I was a kiddo. It called to me. I may or may not have been a weirdo, but super creepy regardless. Notice, no blue hair, colorful clothing, adorable buttons, bright palettes, or super expressive faces. The smug made me think the story took place or orphanage before I even started reading, so that really set the tone for my experience. Coraline is very much alone, with only a candle and clawing shadows licking at her back. This is the stuff of glorious nightmare fuel, and to my over-imaginative kid self, it was everything. And weeks of night terrors. Gosh, did I love it. What I wouldn't give to watch clay style too. But then Weird Heart is all fluttered just thinking about it. But yeah, I read the book as a kid and was kind of freaked out with certain things that just didn't make an appearance in the film, so I decided to look into that more. I am first and foremost a bookworm, so you know I read the book through twice and watched the movie twice, just to make sure I'm not talking nonsense. And you know what? The book is creepier. So, right off the rip, the decision to make a more cheerful set and have goofy characters absolutely made the movie appeal to more viewers. The music is light and airy and rather hopeful, even if it has a bit of a melancholic vibe. The movie has more characters than the book, so it feels less lonely too. Order and timeline of events and pacing is also very different in the movie, and little extras have been peppered in for flavor. Is that instant coffee? Terrifying! I'm not at odds with any decisions whatsoever here. They're all very smart and in some cases necessary. Making things less dark so that more people could see this awesome film is great. Coraline is a strong little lady after all, and it was heartwarming to see her on the big screen and read her tale in a heaven-scented paperback book over and over again. We're going to be bouncing around quite a bit the book or have seen the movie because, hey, spoilers abound! If you haven't done either of those things, do one or both, then come back. Anyway, the timing of happenings does have a significant impact on the creep factor, so buckle up and let's unspool this thread. Right into the oven. In the book, we're thrown into danger right off the rip. By page 8 of 163, we discover the other door, which, unlike the small child-sized portal in the movie, is huge and wooden and carved with the most intricate of details. Large enough for something unsettling to creep through, I dare say. We're in such danger that, shortly after discovering the door, Miss Big and Forceful have already read Coraline's tea leaves, given her a charm, and issued vague warnings. Page 20. Back on page 10, we're already seeing shadows leading us to the door in the night. The movie waits until much later to show this. Gotta set it up just right after all, and you know Coraline is in for a rough time of things because look at this skewed camera angle! You know things are finally about to get freaky. Oh yeah, you may have noticed that I said we discover when talking about the book door. That's because in the book, we are essentially Coraline. We don't get to see her very expressive happen to her, to us. We are essentially experience everything as she is, terrified and all. That alone turns the creepy aspects up a few notches. Speaking of shadows in the night, rats are what make this a whole lot of creepier a whole lot sooner.
Oh, shoot. A rat.
Coraline first opens the door, sweet paper mice magic themselves out of the portal and scurry around the house, eventually leading Coraline to the now open portal door. She follows them because they look so innocent and cute, and she's bored, and why wouldn't you want to follow a bounding bouncy ball mouse? At this much sooner point in the book, Coraline's mother has shut, but not locked, the other door as it doesn't go anywhere, she says. That night, Coraline is awakened by a creak and goes to investigate. She does not see a bounding cute round paper mouse, but what she does see is little more than a shadow. It scuttled down the darkened hallway fast like a patch of night. Page 10. The shape scurries under furniture, making its way back to the door, which is now ever so slightly ajar. And she shuts it. There's no cool, purple, glowy tunnel to lure her. Instead, Coraline goes back to bed, where she dreams of black shapes that gather together under the moon. Little black shapes with little red eyes and sharp yellow teeth. They started to sing. We are small and we are many. We are many and we are small. We were here before you see. We will be here when you fall. Their voices were high and whispering, and whiny. They made Coraline uncomfortable. These shadow rats chant a few more times throughout the book, their song becoming a bit more scary and a lot more threatening each time. In the movie, it's mice. Other Mr. Bobo has a delightful mouse circus. Mice do the other mother's bidding and sound adorable alarms. This mouse pretends it's kept up until the cat reveals their true form to Coraline, and she begins to know the other mother's true colors. In the book, the few mice that we know of are good, or at least on our side. Only the crazy man upstairs, Coraline does not find out his humorous name until the last few pages of the book, has a mouse circus. And these mice are the ones whose whiskers droop when the other mother's mist first appears, who warn us of the dangers to come and then tell us that those dangers have in fact passed. Other Mr. Bobo has a rat circus the whole time in the book, if you can call creepy chanting a circus. There's no pretense in the book. Rats are everywhere. They're sometimes shadow, sometimes corporeal, but always following the other mother's orders. They are her spies and hands into the real world and can traverse the corridor between the worlds without issue. They can even steal the key from Coraline's real house while Coraline is in the other world. These are pretty...
Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back.
Slippery foes, and the fact that the other mother and father are cool with them right when we first meet them put me on edge that this world is seriously skewed and alerted me to never trust anything right from the start. The book handles the killing of the rat who steals the final soul a little, more graphically. In the movie, the cat presents a distraught Coraline with the sand-filled rat head, which is still clutching the eye in its mouth. Ew, gross, yes. However, jumping to the book, after Coraline falls and cries and loses all hope of escape, she opened her eyes and saw the rat. It was lying on a brick path on the bottom of the stairs with a surprised look across its face, which was now several inches away from the rest of it. Its whiskers were still, its eyes were wide open, its teeth visible and yellow and sharp. A color of wet blood glistened at its neck. Yeah, blood. Not sand, not stuffing, not...
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Imaginary world. Die here. The movie Other Mother Puppet Spies have nothing on this. Also, like I mentioned, rats were the spies into the real world, not the crafted puppets. Exist in our real world, like yours and mine right this very minute. They are alive and have blood and blend with shadows and potentially work for another mother. As a kid, while reading this book, I had a family of the critters living
like how the birds work for the bourgeoisie,
forcibly scratching, frantically squeaking, incessantly crawling up and down and scampering all around the wall. They would only come out at night, and I was convinced they would claw their way through the ceiling and follow me any time now. No one believed me for weeks. No one took this seriously. I felt like Book Coraline, bringing valid scary things to light and being ignored and dismissed by grown-ups. So to say that this book hit close to home is a bit of an understatement. And having an overactive imagination on top of that, I was on high alert for mysterious doors for weeks. Psh, rats, man.
I was born.
First of all,
man, the other mother herself. Movie Other Mother at purse really does resemble Coraline's real mother, excluding the button eyes, naturally. Over the course of the movie, she becomes elongated and more insect-like, eventually assuming her final form of nightmarish spider. Even in this form, however, she offers aid to Coraline in the form of a hint on where to find the lost eyes in each of the 3 wonders she has created for her. Even if she has no intention of honoring her word, this other mother at least does more for Coraline than she ever did in the book. Book Other Mother is a far cry from real mother right away. She looked a little like Coraline's mother, only her skin was white as paper. Only she was taller and thinner. Only her fingers were too long and they never stopped moving, and her dark red fingernails were curved and sharp. Page 27. She has a full set of teeth, each of which are just a bit too long. Her fingers constantly move, either excitedly or like a tired butterfly, and her shiny black hair twined and twisted about her neck and shoulders as if it were blowing in some wind that Coraline could not touch or feel. Page 79. It has a mind of its own. Unlike in the movie, this other mother has no reflection in mirrors, which, according to her, are never to be trusted.
Okay.
Is she a vampire? Just what is a Belgium? She uses more than her mouth to speak. Her voice did not just come from her mouth, it came from the mist, the fog, the house, and the sky. Far from offering Coraline any help on the quest, she actively hinders her instead, sending Coraline to the mysterious empty flat next door where the other mother has set a trap. Fully expecting the rotting other father to do Coraline in, and pelting wind with shards of sand and glass into Coraline's face. Things bleed in this world, and the other mother is no exception. At the end of the quest, when Coraline launches the cat at her, instead of just ripping off the button eyes, the cat rips flesh. The other mother bleeds copious amounts of deep, tarry black ooze. Again, what is she made of? She also eats raw beetles, none of this chocolate-covered stuff. Perhaps
No,
the
ma'am.
creepiest thing about the other mother is the fact that she killed her own mother. This is not something in the movie. How do I know you'll keep your word? Asked Coraline. I swear it, said the other mother. I swear it on my own mother's grave. Does she have a grave? Asked Coraline, sharp as ever. Oh, yes, said the other mother. I put her there. That for I can trust you to keep your word. My right hand, said the other mother, holding it up. She waggled the long finger slowly, displaying claw-like nails. I swear on that. Page 92. Okay, also the hand. Remember this bargain for reference later in this video.
Okay.
The other theater show. Well, unsettling in the movie in its own way, the book has Coraline in mortal danger during the show, and there are no glitter vats to be had. Book Coraline enters the other theater all alone and is shown her seat by a talking dog. Like in the movie, she is called to the stage, but a dagger-throwing segment. Dying and eats a piece. I remember thinking, this is like the myth of Persephone in Hades. Coraline ate some metaphorical pomegranate seeds. Oh no, she's gotta stay there now. One of the dogs by her discusses how you can never tell what you're going to get in the dark, referring to the chocolates, which made me think she was eating bugs. It's revealed that dogs in this world eat chocolate, which is obviously deadly to Coraline. She asks how long this show goes on for, and they say, forever and always, which is a common phrase in the book and a hot tip that not all is as great as it seems, and really freaks Coraline out to the point where she gets up and walks out of the forever repeating show, leaving her chocolates behind. She knows not all is right, and such a great time that her other parents have to come by to collect her at the end of the day, and she stays overnight for a second time in that world. Coraline is seemingly more taken into the other world in the movie than she is in the book, possibly because she's always had her talisman with her in the book, or the book is just that much creepier. The other upstairs flat. In the movie, Wybie and Coraline enjoyed the mouse circus
I always
upstairs
liked
early
Wybie.
on. The flat is so cool.
For
Popcorn
Wyborn.
and fun cannons everywhere. When Coraline goes back to collect the final eye later, the attic is more or less the same, with a bit of a color change and with the addition of the rat composite other Mr. Bobo. In the book, instead of going upstairs for the circus, 50 rats visit her in her ugly green and pink other bedroom and perform there. Even then, it's not really a circus, but another one of those creepy chants. So, Coraline has never been to this other flat before going to retrieve the final soul, and what she experiences there is kinda creepy. The air is heavy and the ceiling is closing in about her so tightly that she can reach up and touch it. The smell of the exotic food left out to rot. And rats begin their chant anew. We have eyes and we have nerve seeds. We have tails and we have teeth. You'll get all what you deserve when we rise from underneath. By this point, Coraline has only briefly conversed with the real crazy old man and only once spoken to the other crazy old man before to decline his offer for her to come upstairs and watch the rats feed. No thank you, I don't even want to know. She doesn't even know his name other than the crazy man from upstairs. So when he has a deep heart-to-heart with her, accurately pinpointing her frustrations and issues with the real world, trying to convince her to stay in the other world, it's very unsettling, especially because the whispery, disembodied voice keeps pace with her into every room she passes through. And of course we know what happens from here. He's made of rats.
He
The
is?
decaying creations. And the other Spink and Forcible look like pulled taffy. The other furniture is revealed to be bugs, which major props to this thematic detail, caught in a web. However, the book did this creepier. This is what gave me nightmares and shivers. Not the sewing of button eyes, but the rich descriptions of the creations decaying. Let's have a look, shall we? Coraline's first unpleasant encounter with the other father? There was something vague about his face, like bread dough that had begun to rise, smoothing out the bumps and cracks and depressions. Okay, cool. We're getting clay-like, like on the cover of the book. But then the theater dogs? There were things up there. Hairless, jellyish. She thought they might have once had faces. Wait, these things are now goopy and clayish and runny? There's decidedly no stuffing and sand in this world. It's all decaying organic matter. The Spink and Forcible are not contained in a candy wrapper, but in an insect sack. It clings to Coraline's hair and clothes the way the whole other theater is covered in the stuff as well. The two actresses are cold, slippery, covered in slime, and horribly unformed and unfinished, as if two plasticine people had been warmed and rolled together, squashed and open, 4 black buttons glinting and staring down at her, and 2 voices that sounded like no voice.
Oh my guys. Oh my god, guys. A bug is attacking me right now. I don't like that. A bug just literally tried to attack me in my own room. We're gonna sit back. And I don't even know what it was.
Coraline had ever heard began to speak to her. One of them wailed and whispered. The other buzzed just like a fat and angry blue bottle at a window pane.
The King's Hawaiian
Okay.
So we're getting a more bloaty, decaying, slimy story about the creations dying, but when we get to the final scene with the other father, things get gross. Coraline finds and smells something under a pile of rubbish in one corner of the other empty flat's basement cellar, mixed in about the decaying curtains and mildewy boxes and newspaper. It smells horribly of sour wine and moldy bread here, and as she goes to leave, Coraline spots a foot at the bottom of the trash pile. Page 110. Something more or less the size and shape of a person. In that dim light, it took her several seconds to recognize it for what it was. The thing was pale and swollen like a grub, with thin, stick-like arms and feet. It had almost no features on its face, which had puffed and swollen like risen bread dough. The thing had 2 large black buttons where its eyes should have been. A mouth opened in the mouthless face, strands of pale stuff sticking to the lips, and a voice that no longer even faintly resembled her father's whispered, "Coraline." The creature's twig-like hands moved to its face and pushed the pale clay about, making something like a nose. The thing was white and huge and swollen. Monstrous. so miserable. She takes pity on it, being relegated down here for upsetting the other mother by saying too much. It is blobby and hairless and sticky and tacky like warm bread dough. Unlike in the movie, where the other father ends up helping her retrieve the first eye, in the book he's unable to resist the other mother's demand to ensnare Coraline. The shape that was her father grows. It inflates, it writhes, awaiting instructions, and then, quick as lightning, slithers up the stairs towards her. We have a very narrow escape through the trapdoor, and we are thoroughly done with this other world. Sheesh. Only a few more things to find. The corridor, a most ancient beast. This tunnel between worlds starts off kinda pretty in the movie. Behind a small, whimsical, perfectly child-sized door is an eerie, glowy, purpley entrance to a kids-only cosmos. As the story progresses, it fades into what looks like a cluttered attic or crawl space, with detritus and junk sprawled everywhere, and finally to a cobweb-infested trap. Now in the book, this liminal space is alive. Behind the huge, ornate, Narnia gone wrong door is something ancient, deep, and slow. Coraline picks up on this on her first foray into the other world. It's a dark hallway with a cold, musty smell, like something very old and very slow, where strange voices whispered and distant winds howled. Coraline became certain there was something in the dark behind her, something very old and very slow. This is not your funhouse purple tunnel, and we are definitely not alone. When Coraline goes back into the tunnel to save her parents, she notes to the cat that the tunnel is shorter than she remembers it being, like it's trying to get her back in there quickly. During our escape back to the real world, the tunnel is most than it had ever been. The walls also feel warm and yielding, as if they were covered in a fine, downy fur. It moved, as if it were taking a breath. A few moments later, after a howling wind, Coraline reaches to stabilize herself again, but this time, what she touched felt hot and wet, as if she had put her hand in somebody's mouth. Page 136. She trips on the other mother's hand, but knows she must keep moving because whatever that corridor was older by far than the other mother. It was deep and slow, and it knew that she was there. Clearly, this tunnel is alive, and I have some theories, but we'll save those for another time. If we thought the other mother was creepy, this tunnel is indicative of some next-level terror. The lack of adults and being all alone. No matter how awful things get in the movie, Coraline, for the most part, has real people in her corner back in the real world. Her parents don't go missing until a few days of her visiting the other world, and even then, there are still neighbors and friends about, offering aid in the form of charms and advice. Now, in the book, Coraline right after her first half-evening trip into the other world. She doesn't even stay the night in already. Her parents are out of the picture. The next day, she bumps into Miss Spink in the fog, who prattles on about telling her parents something or other, deaf to Coraline's plight about them being missing and now being a single-child family. Spink also mentions that both of the actresses will be out of town visiting a niece tomorrow, leaving Coraline even more alone with no adults to help. In the movie, this is the point where they make her the talisman. In true Home Alone fashion, Coraline fends for herself. She breaks her savings and goes shopping for food and other staples, and generally holds down the fort until the next night, when her parents still are not home. She sees them trapped behind a mirror. They write helpless on the fog, similar to the movie, although this happens days later in that. She calls the police to tell them that her parents have been kidnapped, but the officer just benignly tells her she simply had a nightmare and to tell her mom to go fix her hot cocoa because that will make everything better. Man, adults are really oblivious. Knowing that she's truly all alone and no one will believe her or help her makes the book so scary and creepy. We are truly alone with her. To be had. After days of being on her own, Coraline then dons a dressing gown and slippers, and, because she will not eat the other mother's food, a few apples, to go back into the other world to save her parents. The end. The hint. The last task. Remember that bargain the other mother made in the book with Coraline? The one where she swore on her right hand? This is where that comes back into play. In the movie, after a delightful gardening party that really warms the whole tone of the movie, the children Coraline saved visit her in a dream and tell her she must get rid of the key, because the other mother will never stop looking for it. The metallic hand, meanwhile, follows Coraline back into the real world in search of the key, although Coraline's not really aware of that until it attacks her and nearly kills Wybie. She traps it while trying to dispose of the key because it was to get rid of the key, not get rid of the hand. In the book, Coraline is very aware that the bone white hand has followed her into the real world. This is somehow creepier because it's an organic hand, not metallic, that has been lopped off in the other door. It tries to trip her up as she escapes in the tunnel. It near the key. It attacks the actress's dog, being a huge gash on poor Hamish's side. Coraline's as well, except for the hand shape that is clung to the side of the teacup. This hand is trouble with a capital T. In the movie, she traps the hand in the well because it attacks her. In the book, Coraline has to devise a way to kill it because, according to the ghostly child in her dream, the beldam swore by her good right hand. But she lied. Coraline knows this hand will always stalk her and hurt those around her and their dogs. She must devise a cunning trick to trap the hand, using the well that if one was to fall into the well and look up, they would see a sky full of stars. Even in the daytime, she feigns nonchalance and bravely sets up a creepy picnic with dolls and toys. She stretches a blanket over the well, weighs it down with teacups of water, and sets the key in the center, waiting for the hand to make its move. All goes to plan, and the murderer's hand is trapped in the well with the key. In both the book and the movie, I gotta say, this is terrifying, irresponsible, nightmarish. This cycle will continue, especially because the cat proves that there are still portals open. There could very well be one in the well as well. Oh well. So, after rereading the book a few more times and watching the jaw-dropping animation a few more times as well, I think that my childhood read on the book was, in fact, creepier. There are decaying creations, gory details, and dire situations that just weren't in the movie. Also, tons more rats. Ugh. Now, don't get me wrong, both the movie and the book are amazing. I just don't get the visceral reaction from the book. Although I can see how some people would. It's kind of like how Ian from The Nightmare Before Christmas haunted my dreams and days for years. I still cringe and twinge at that part of the animation. Anyway, those are my bookwormy thoughts on how Coraline...
Okay. Not gonna lie. That was pretty creepy. I'm gonna say that her animation is like freaking bomb. Like her art style or their art style. You know. Her art style is so beautiful. And it can make things look creepy. Like maybe I don't know if this is her like original art style all the time, but the way that she used the art style this time in this video makes everything creepier, makes everything come to life, and I love it. Honestly, it. You know what? I might just watch. I just might watch Coraline. I just might. But also, phone, you need to quit with that stopping in the middle randomly out of nowhere. But okay. Also, guys, I broke my phone. I didn't break it. I cracked the screen. So, it might act a little bit slower. But until then, I guess not. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check the description down below. I love you guys. Stay safe. You're valid. Bye-bye.